This channel is made possible by viewers like you. My viewers, subscribers, and patrons greatly help to keep this channel going. I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for all of you. Please make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any uploads. And if you'd like to go the extra mile, please check out my Patreon page. For just $1 a month, you'll get access to what I'm working on, previews of upcoming content, and even early videos, along with other tier options for those that are interested. Thank you, and now on to the video. I had the opportunity to dive into Ravenswatch. This is a new indie roguelike, and I believe made by the same developers as Curse of the Gods. A game I could appreciate, but wasn't one that I wanted to play that often based on a pure preference standpoint, not a quality standpoint. With this game, I find that it has more stuff within it that's making me want to come back to it. But for me, I am also finding that it has critical flaws. Well, I'm not even sure I would call it a flaw exactly, more like how the game should be tackled. Either with this issue or concern, I'm still having a fun time with the game, because it manages to bring a lot of enjoyable elements to the experience. I like it, and I think it might even be a bit underrated. As another bit of clarification, I honestly can't tell you the difference between a roguelite and a roguelike. This particular title is labeled as a roguelike, but I prefer when you have something to grind for, like something to earn in the long term. For example, you die and then you walk away with something. Now sure, you'll always walk away with new ways to tackle the game, along with hopefully improving your skill, but I like having those things to actually earn and upgrade in-game. As it pertains to Ravenswatch, you will be ranking up your individual character, which sort of acts like different character classes, and then you will earn the ability to have more upgrades and buffs that pop up on each run, and it would appear you earn more outside of just the ranking unlocks. So essentially you earn the ability to then encounter better buffs while on another run. This is an area that I like. Now while on a run, this game is rather exciting, and I can feel in combination with the long-term unlocks, I really enjoy starting up a new run, even though I'm not that good at this title, and I think it needs better balancing for single-player play, but more on that later. I spent my time with a more melee-focused character and then as a ranged fighter. The melee guy worked how you would expect, with the ranged fighter being pretty different. For example, his main attacks kind of works like a twin-stick shooter, and then you will earn rats that will join you and you can send those out to attack for you. Depending on the buffs, you can even have rats that can explode. This I really liked.
Return to your swamp.
Again, like I said, I'm not very good, which also means that I've seen many different variations of the first area, and I haven't really grown bored of it. I have found new enemies, events, and things to see and do there. There's this ticking clock that you need to look out for with the nightmare, this constant threat that is essentially always out to get you. It helps to give the entire run a layer of urgency to it as well. Exploration and discovery is really enjoyable. A lot of this plays into the randomness of the game. You really don't know what you're gonna find. This can lead to a risk and reward nature to the game itself. You may have thought you found something good to give you the leg up on everything, and it may, but you'll need to fight this new boss to be able to even have the chance to potentially earn this reward. And even more exciting is when you're not really fully prepared for something like this. I found that Ravenswatch encourages the player to experiment and try new things with each of the starting characters, along with how to build them for each run. This adds another layer of freshness to the experience too, and I really like this. The elements are all here, and I think things generally gel well together. The action is fun with the minute-to-minute stuff and addicting as well. The game is very gameplay oriented. There is a story with each of the characters, but it's more of a supplemental kind of thing. The opening cutscene though is really nice. A nice mixture of action, camera work, and a cool way to introduce the main cast. Here is a bit from the opening cutscene. I think my main issue with the game is playing it in single player. This is a title that is advertised as a game that can be played in co-op, but not exclusively a co-op title, if that makes sense. For all my time with this game, I spent it playing in single player. I did feel like any time I was on a good run, or doing well, there would be something that would come up and sort of halt my progress. Not because necessarily of the choices that I made, but rather because I was completely outmatched, being that I was alone with no other players. I think when it comes to the balancing of the entire game, it's that while the game does allow you to play the game in single player, this is something that very much should be played in co-op. More like a co-op first, single player second kind of thing. In my first video, I said that the game is still worth playing in single player, even though you're gonna have more of an uphill experience. And I mostly still stand by this after spending more time with it. But as I have played the game more, I am leaning more and more into the direction that the game needs more balancing, and work to ensure a better single player experience. I can totally see Ravenswatch being a game that would make for a great time to enjoy with friends, but as it pertains to the single player, I think this is where more playtesting is needed. What would be interesting is to see how the majority of players are actually playing the game. If the single player count is low, I can honestly understand why this game is like this. You only have so many resources and want to put those into where most of the people are. As a personal preference thing too, if you're going to allow for the game to be played in single player, then it needs to be like a complete experience. And when I'm doing really well, it can feel that way. But more often than not, it can feel like this area needs more work, and should be advised for people going into this for single player only play. Ravenswatch is a really fun game, an enjoyable roguelike, and a title that I really like despite the fact that I don't think I'm very good at it, and I think it could be improved for single player play. I think it has a lot of personality, from the art style to the game, and other great presentation elements, especially the music. The minute-to-minute action is very enjoyable. It is kind of like a roguelike action RPG with different characters that play differently too. I do think that the balancing for single player is something that can be fixed with patches and more tweaking. It is a tough battle, you want the game challenging but not impossible, and yet something that is not too easy. But the foundation is really good and strong enough in some areas, so hopefully the single player area can continue to be refined. Overall, I like Ravenswatch. I would still recommend it and would advise anyone going into this as a single player only thing, know that it's going to be even more of an uphill battle. Have you played Ravenswatch? What do you think about it? How did you play it? Single player, co-op, or both? Let me know in the comments down below. If you're interested in supporting the channel, please check out my Patreon page. For just $1 a month, you can help to keep this channel going strong, and this allows me to be able to do more for my awesome audience. Please check out the links in the description and pinned comment for ways to support the channel. And most of all, thank you very much for watching.